Hello everyone, so today I would like to show you how I painted this tentacle guy, and I would like to discuss also a topic about improving your art quickly and how, in my opinion, you can do it. But before we start with the main topic, a small story about this guy, how he came to be and what he is. So basically it is meant to be in the Sorcerer game. It's the same game that I have made some demons previously. They are also uploaded in this channel, so check them out. But yeah, general topic was to paint some London sewers, creepy cultists, kinda like Bloodborne or some horror type of guys, inspired type of thingies. That was pretty much the end of the brief. Just make creepy guys in masks and it will be fine. The second thing that was actually really interesting about this project was to deliver as many illustrations as possible, as soon as possible. So before starting this project, I already knew that I have to work quickly with them. And I kind of felt like, okay, this is the time when I use every single trick that I know. So most likely I will be using a lot of 3D, I will be using a lot of different photographs and whatnot. And I just started doing it the usual way, if I want to make something quickly and if I want to make something look good. And when I was modeling the first guy, I kind of felt it does not really feel right. I kind of felt like I'm really dependent on all the tricks that I know and all the softwares that I know and all this 3D rendering and whatnot. And I kind of felt in a way it's kind of limiting my ability to develop myself as an artist. So I did a kind of counterintuitive type of thing, because I decided I will paint everything by hand, draw everything by hand, paint everything by hand, to just learn how to do it better, and only use 3D or some photo textures only when I really need it. So this way I will make sure I am actually working on my actual speed of drawing and painting while still delivering a good project. So maybe it will take me a few hours more, but in the end, the next illustrations most likely will take me a little bit less and less and less, so I'll just become a better artist in general. But this kind of inspired me to talk about the topic of improving your art and how you can do it quickly. So I gathered 5 or 6 things that I really wished I had applied earlier in my first stages when I was learning, when I was a complete beginner, that will really help to develop me as an artist. So yeah, but the first thing that I feel is extremely important is to have a goal. So if you don't have a goal, if you don't know what you are aiming for, there's a really small chance that you will achieve it, because how can you achieve something if you don't know what you are aiming for? So if you want to learn how to draw, try to nail down actually what do you want to learn while drawing. So for example, if you want to learn perspective, just draw every single thing in perspective. Try to study perspective, try to learn everything that you know about the perspective, just deep dive into the certain subject and don't get distracted by other subjects. So if you try to learn perspective, geometry, drawing faces, drawing trees, colors, composition, line weight, and every other thing that you can imagine, at the same time, most likely you will develop as an artist, but you will just get better overly as an artist. You wouldn't learn one skill in particular in a really good manner, and most likely it will be a bit harder for you to know what to actually do, because if you need to learn 40 things at the same time, it might get a little bit overwhelming for you, and you might feel a little bit lost with all the things, and it might lead you to not actually drawing art, to not actually practicing anything, because it will be just too overwhelming for you. So having a goal will make it way simpler for you. Just focus on one thing and just practice the hell out of it. And if you feel tired with the theme, or if you feel like you learned what you wanted to learn from this topic, then just change the topic and you will be fine. The second thing is to actually have fun while doing it. The biggest thing, like the baddest thing that you can do is to actually try to learn something without having fun while doing it. If you won't have fun while learning something, most likely you wouldn't continue learning because it will just not be a pleasant experience for you. So try to make art fun for you. If, for example, you don't enjoy like drawing cars because of reasons, just try to learn, for example, drawing vehicles that you like. Maybe you don't enjoy cars, maybe you enjoy motorbikes. If you don't like drawing horses, maybe try drawing dragons. Like, just take a topic that is interesting for you and that is fun for you. Like, try to, for example, while learning, listen to your favorite music, just to associate the things that you like with art. And most likely, at some point, you will actually start enjoying everything more and more, and it will be like just easier for you. I remember when I was like starting out, when I was like the complete beginner, I was really stressed out about everything that I was doing because I always wanted it to be perfect and I always wanted everything to be like as good as possible. It kinda led to the point where I felt the obligation to make the best artwork every single time, and it was stressing the hell out of me, and it caused to like change my thinking on the art into something like that is not fun. It's an obligation to deliver the best thing that I possibly can. It kinda was not making any sense because the effect of it was to like skip doing art because I felt kinda afraid of like not delivering what I wanted to do. So maybe do not lower your expectations too low, but try to lower your expectations, have fun, just practice. Like the more you will do, the better at one point it will look like. If you like really need to make 20 bad artworks to just make one good artwork, it meant you needed to make those 20 bad artworks to deliver one good artwork. And the more you will do, the better it will like look like in the end. So you just need to like experiment, have fun, just play with it and try to like have a good attitude towards it. And this kind of goes also to the consistency, which is the third point on the list. And probably it's one of the most important things if you want to improve pretty much at any field that you can imagine. So if you want to get better at something, you need to be consistent with it. So if you want to get better at drawing, you should be drawing consistently. There's no way you will be like doing a marathon for like 3 months, like drawing for 20 hours a day, and then skip doing art for 2 years and like expect yourself to be a good artist after these 2 years. It just won't happen. And it's pretty much exactly the same with every single other theme that I can imagine. But try to be consistent. Like try to draw, let's say, every day for like 1 hour, 4 hours, or how many hours you can. Like just practice daily or every second day or whatever. Just be consistent with it. One of the problems that you might like stumble upon is actually losing a track or like missing a day of your, like, let's say, daily practice. So it does not really matter. If you miss a day, nothing really bad happens. Like just continue the cycle in the next day and just act like the previous day was not there. Like you skipped 1 day, so what? It does not really matter that much. So don't get stressed if you skip a day because it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes like shit happens and you just cannot predict everything. Maybe you will just have a day where you like physically cannot paint or draw, or maybe you just don't feel like drawing or painting. If you don't feel like drawing and if you just feel tired, take time off, like take 2-3 days off, a week off, and yeah, that's all. But just try to be consistent with it. Like also taking a break from art, sometimes it's a good thing. Even for myself, I noticed sometimes when I took a break from art for like 2 weeks or something like this, I came back kind of refreshed with all the ideas buzzing in my head, and I kind of felt like I improved a lot because of this pause that I did with the art. So sometimes it's a good thing, but usually just try to be consistent with everything that you are doing. The next thing, the fourth point, is to use some references. There is this huge myth, like between beginners, that the real artist can draw everything from imagination. It's kind of true because great artists have a really nicely developed visual library, so To put it simply, they know how things look like. And they know how things look like because they studied a lot of different things, and they just kind of remembered everything, how they remember the world around them, and now they can they know the things. So if you are a beginner, most likely you don't know how the things look like, so you cannot expect yourself to be able to draw or paint something that is cool, in a sense, because you simply don't know how cool things look like. So a cool little experiment is just to try to draw a bike without using any references, from the side, and see how much most likely you don't know how a bike looks like, even though that most likely you were using bike many times in your life. But most likely you don't know how a bike looks like, or a spider, or an ant. Just pause the video and just go grab a piece of paper and try to draw a bike. This is a neat proof that you don't know how things look like. So using references is nothing bad. Also, as you can see on the video, at the moment there's my hand, because I had many problems with drawing this hand. I just took a photo of my hand, placed some references around the painting of other artists, and I was just using them as a reference. And using other artists' work as an inspiration, in my opinion, is also one of the most important things that you can do to develop your skill. Know artists, know different artists, know what they do, know how they do it, and just try to study their works. Just see how they are solving problems to show the things in the painting. So for example, in here, I knew Maxim Verechin and Oleg Vdovenko are the kings of the creepy type of thingies around our station, so I really enjoy looking at their artworks. And since I wanted to paint something creepy, I just chose them to inspire me while doing this art. So I was looking for different visual solutions, for different tricks or different textures on just how they work, and I try to emulate it in my work, and I try to get inspired. One of the problems that you might stumble upon while getting inspired by other artists is most likely you will start to compare yourself to the artist, and it's really not a good thing to do, because especially if you are a beginner, most likely your artworks do not look that good. And if you try to compare yourself to a really advanced guy that, for example, is painting for 20 years or something, most likely you will come to the conclusion that comparing your artwork to his artwork or her artwork, that your thing kind of looks like shit. And most likely it does if you compare those two things together, but it's not really a fair comparison. So remember, just don't get discouraged because someone is better. If you will practice daily, and if you will practice consistently, and if you will practice smart, one day you will be the good artist that other guys are looking up to. So just remember, most likely the artists that you are watching, the top dogs on the industry, most likely they have 1,000 hours, many years of experience behind their backs. I don't know the expression for it, but yeah, just it's kind of trying to compare an ant and an elephant. Of course, okay, does not matter. There was no comparison like this. Let's just go to the next step. And for the artists, actually, this is one of the hardest things to do, but just try to make friends with some other artists, or just have a community to talk to share your thoughts, to share your artworks, to get a feedback for your artworks, because you simply cannot objectively say what is good or bad in your artwork. If you made it, it will always be a subjective thing. Most likely it will be a subjective thing. But if you are working on an artwork for, let's say, 10 hours or something like this, you simply don't see every single mistake that you make. You need another pair of eyes to just judge the painting that you are doing. Not every critic is a good critic, but if you have a friend that you trust, that, for example, is a much more skilled artist, or is just an artist on your level, or even if he is worse but you trust him, just send them stuff, put your stuff on the forum, just look up for the critique. In my opinion, critique is really valuable, because you will have a different input into the artwork that you are doing. That is also one of the things that I do all the time. every single piece that I am doing, I always spam some friends of mine, I always send them my stuff, I always ask them, what do you think about it, like make it better, what I could do better. And this is pretty much how 99% of my artworks ever came to be. Like I always asked shitload of questions about the artworks, like what I need to make to just be better. And the last thing is just demand from yourself to improve. If you will strive to improve, most likely you will improve. Like you only need to put a work behind it, but if you like really commit to it, most likely you will improve. Try to criticize yourself, try to see what skills you lack, try to like train everything. Remember, it won't take like 1 week or 2 weeks, most likely it will take many years. In my case, as you can see, this is pretty much at the moment the summary of myself, like learning how to paint digitally for over 9 years now. So it will take time. It's not an easy hobby. This is a hard thing to learn. This is a really like broad thing to learn because like you have thousands of topics that you could touch, but just remember, like, just practice, and one day like you will be way better than you are today. So I guess that's pretty much all. I was trying to record this video for like 10 times, so if I am like blabbering or just talking nonsense, forgive me, but I really want to make this video. And yeah, it's like I don't know what try, but if you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe it, and if you have any comments or suggestions for the next topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to write them in the comments. So also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I will try to ask every single question that I can. And I guess that's all. And thanks for watching, and have a good day, night, or whatever time of the day that you are currently having. And goodbye.